No Piccolo, no Purunga, but some buffed up Earth fighters? How will the Saiyans cope? Fairly well, actually. What's up, everybody? StevDeS here. It's time to return a decades-old what if that came to my mind in the ripe young age of around 16. Around 16, maybe 17. One where I considered my favorite dragon to have been on Earth the entire time. But of course, this what if doesn't only come with its share of differences in the timeline, but almost a complete swap of the pecking order. Whereas with every Earthling buffed the way they are so far, the Saiyan threat could be a little bit more threatening. Well, at least two of the three are a little more threatening. The first one's probably gonna be easy. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and do a quick recap. Previously in this timeline, Goku and Kami themselves had to worry about taking care of the evil King Piccolo because he had wished all of Earth's warriors banished from the planet. Luckily, one's a Namekian and one's a Saiyan, so by technicality, Purunga's wish didn't work on those two. However, just in case, Kami thought it would be wise that the Earth crew that were in Otherworld should travel down Snake Way just in case things don't go their way. There'll be a way for them to get back, but it would be a pretty difficult way. Luckily though, everything seemed to work out, and King Piccolo's wishes were gone. They were unwished by Purunga after the Dragon Balls were remade by Kami. And with King Piccolo's vanquishing and Piccolo Jr.'s consequent vanquishing, everything came out normal again. Somewhat. I left a poll for you in the last one, and with 62% of the vote, you all voted that the Earthlings would in fact learn Kaioken with difficulty. For that, let's say that Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha have mastered Kaioken, and Tien is able to bring it up to 3 times. Krillin and Yamcha are right behind at about 2 times, and even though he knows the technique, Roshi's probably not going to use it on account of he can just buff up in order to power up. The last Z fighter that I mentioned in the last part was Chaozu, and I think Chaozu would know the technique and be able to use it, but not be able to go very much higher. Probably wouldn't even be able to do 2 times, just the basic Kaioken. And even then, Chaozu wouldn't be able to handle it very long, because, his body's kind of small. However, there is a warrior that I did accidentally leave out. One who knows about King Piccolo and would be on top of things, especially for what he did for the Earth crew around the time of King Piccolo's, terror. Yajirobe. If it wasn't for Yajirobe climbing Korin's tower and getting Goku out of there in the first place, not only that, but climbing Korin's tower with Goku on his back, Goku wouldn't have had the training to take on King Piccolo. So, naturally, let's give everybody's favorite Z fighter a proper gift. He does know Kaioken, and he can barely take it up to 2 times, but he's only able to do maybe 2 attacks at 2 times. It's not worth it. Basic Kaioken, just like Chaozu, will probably be the norm for Yajirobe. Having said that, would Yajirobe fare better in the preliminaries? Because during the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, he faced Kami. Let's address this. According to the math that Professor Dez did, when we were estimating Chi-Chi's power level during the second Goten part, we determined that if we were to apply that multiplier that Chi-Chi got to Yajirobe's final power level of 970, we would be able to get a power level that seemed okay for the canon of Dragon Ball, 120 for Yajirobe's base power level. Now, if we take that power level and multiply it by the gains that the rest of the Earth crew got, Yajirobe's power level would be at 2400, more than Kami. There is something else to consider here, which I hadn't thought of again in the last part, which is that Kami's only at full power when he's not fighting with the guise of hero. Yeah, when he's in disguise like that, his power level is drastically lower. So, during the preliminary fight with Yajirobe, he realizes that in order to properly test his students, he's gotta come clean. He leaves the body of Hero and states that I was merely using the human in order to fight. Now I'm fighting seriously. With Kami fighting seriously, there's two things to take into account here. Yajirobe will still lose the preliminary because of these two things. Number one, Kami's kinda smarter than Yajirobe. I do believe that Kami would be able to outsmart Yajirobe, outmaneuver him, and be sure that any sort of fatal blows, those won't happen. The second thing to consider here is that Kami is Kami. So there is a sense of intimidation when he's going up against Yajirobe. So, therefore, things would still continue normally in the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. So, with that out of the way, and Yajirobe being very much stronger than the Saiyans Saga iteration that we got, let's go ahead and get back into what if the dragons were swapped. Following the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Chi-Chi and Goku make a Gohan. Yay! After the end point of Dragon Ball and Chi-Chi settling down, it would be a couple of years before Goku's really itching for a fight, and he still remembers how well everybody was pumped up and really, really good. So, Goku would actually go on to win the next World Martial Arts Tournament, but after that, he really makes it a point to go visit his friends with that time frame. When he does go to Kame House, Yamcha is visiting, so he's able to not only train with Krillin, but he's also able to train with Yamcha and Master Roshi. He's really able to get it, but his gains over the course of maybe a couple years, it's not as much as they are. More of the time, he'd train with Krillin because it's easier to organize, and Roshi because he kind of lives at Kame House, then Yamcha, and then maybe some at Korin's Tower in the Lookout, along with some Yajirobe training here and there. The Z-Fighter that he would train with the least would be Tien and Chaozu, because those two are typically all over the place at this point. However, the first time he does train with Tien and Chaozu, Tien opens his mind up as to how the Earth crew got all these gains to begin with. He does reveal that they met a wise old teacher by the name of King Kai, and this teacher told them that his little planet at the end of Snake Way was 10 times Earth's normal gravity. It was insane to get used to. But the big words kind of go over Goku's head, but he does know someone who does know some big words and does science stuff with machines. Bulma. And so, the next day, Goku plans to visit Bulma, but Chi-Chi's urging to go with her husband this time. Chi-Chi wants to get Gohan enrolled in school and get Goku his driver's license. That thing happens without Piccolo this time. And sure enough, Goku does get his license. He's a little bit smarter because he's been forced to hang out with his friends and learn a little bit more about common life. You know, if he wants to get stronger and train with his friends, he's gotta interact with them. And so Chi-Chi and Gohan actually go to Capsule Corp and surprise Bulma. Bulma's the first to know that, oh my god, Goku's a daddy. But of course, Bulma treats Gohan well, and Gohan has, a little play area while Chi-Chi goes with Dr. Briefs to look at the schools in the area, and Goku gets to talk to Bulma about his new training regimen. He wants the kind of gains that Tien and Yamcha and Krillin and Chaozu and even Yajirobe and Roshi, they got. And he wants something like that so that he can catch up with them a little better. So he tells her, without even knowing what the heck gravity is, about what Tien Shinhan told him. Bulma thinks about this for a second and says, well, we're working on some space technology, so why not? I could make a gravity chamber. It'd be pretty fun. And so, construction begins on the gravity chamber, and as soon as it's ready, Goku is on the way. I'd say it would take a little over a year because we're kind of pushing Capsule Corp's envelope past space travel without a single Saiyan pod. It would be difficult, but theoretical physics seems to be a brief's strong point. Through this training, Goku is able to beat the 2000 barrier and land his power level at about 2600. And Yamcha, Krillin, everybody would get a little bit more on top of their power level. Let's say about 100 to 150 more, just because Goku wants to train with them. So let's say Yamcha made it to 3000 and Krillin is at about... Actually, yeah, Krillin would be at about 3000. Because he would train with Krillin a lot more. And so the fateful day arrives where we head into Z and begin the Saiyan saga with Raditz landing on Earth and making that farmer with shotguns day. With no Piccolo around, he has to search, and eventually his scouter does pick up 2 strong power levels over 2000. Oh, this is not good for Raditz. However, Raditz does have a silver tongue, so maybe one is Kakarot, and maybe Kakarot would want to listen to him. That's what he's hoping for. If not, then he's probably walking into a Hornet's nest. But no, one is Kakarot, and he's got his kid, and his wife is also tagging along because, you know, Goku can drive car now. When he arrives, he does greet everyone with a smile, trying to be as friendly and uppity as possible, just to try to get on everybody's good sides.
Ah, Kakarot! It's been so long! How have you been?
Who are you exactly?
You know, I should have predicted this. Just hear me out.
Raditz naturally becomes the main exposition and tells them, hey, you're a Saiyan. Everybody's naturally shocked just like the regular anime, but in this timeline, Raditz doesn't just take Gohan because that's a suicide button waiting to be pressed. Instead, he bides his time and just has a good conversation. Here, he learns that Gohan is a human Saiyan hybrid and his nephew. So there is a way for the Saiyan race to be reborn through this human race. This definitely intrigues him, and it definitely intrigues the prince, as when he leaves Kame House that day, he reports back and has a conversation with Vegeta.
Look, just see if you can get a hold of the child, Raditz. We don't need any other fuss. Grab him and bring him back, because he might have some potential that could be useful to Frieza.
Vegeta, with all due respect, this could be a planet we could grow the Saiyan army on again. Why don't we just let him be? Kakarot's made a home for himself, and, well, one less Saiyan couldn't really matter in the long run, right?
You know Frieza doesn't like returning empty-handed. You're going to grab the boy, or else. Get it done.
Raditz has to strategize here. He is a power level of 1600 going against several power levels that are over 2000. And if the Baldy is almost at 3000 and that's just one of Kakarot's friends, boy howdy, he needs to strategize here. He blends in with the populace as best he can and learns that this planet in fact has a full moon cycle. That's how he's going to be able to do it. He's going to have to abuse the full moon and best Kakarot in order to be sure that nobody follows him with the kid. The day of the full moon at night comes forward, and Raditz attacks Chi-Chi.
making sure that she knows what to tell Kakarot upon his return from fishing. Goku really wouldn't suspect anything because Raditz is just out there and maybe he's just visiting family. So he's not worried about Chi-Chi or Gohan. But when he's back, he's worried about Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi does her job and tells him that Raditz has Gohan, and he wants to meet his brother at sunset. His brother knows how to sense power levels, and Raditz knows this by now. So, naturally, Raditz just has to play the waiting game. Goku ponders this, and thinks about the fact that he's a Saiyan. He's got a tail. Oh boy. He's gonna turn into a big monkey. He's gonna need some help with his brother. Goku goes to Kame's house and recruits Krillin, who's more than happy to help Goku find his son and save him from Raditz's clutches. But Krillin does know about the Great Ape transformation and says, well, you know, Goku, maybe we should get everybody else. Maybe we're not gonna be powerful enough. Sure enough, he takes his friend's advice and they recruit the Z-Fighters to lead an offensive against Raditz. The plan is that Goku will square off against Raditz alone at first, but if the Great Ape shows up, everybody will reveal their power levels and jump in to help. The showdown starts as Goku has arrived at sunset, squaring off against his brother. I'm here, Raditz! Give Gohan back, now!
Well, I'd be inclined to, brother.
That's when Raditz pulls out a severed monkey's tail and drops it in front of his brother.
I'm afraid he got away from me.
Raditz holds up for roughly an hour against an enraged Goku because how dare Raditz lay any harm towards Gohan, especially ripping off his tail. Eventually, the Great Ape does show up. But what Raditz didn't expect was Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, and... where's Krillin? Yeah, Krillin's not there, and neither is Yajirobe. Yajirobe's still at, Korn's tower. They've got plenty of help without him. But, where's Krillin? Turns out, he took the bluff. As soon as he heard that Gohan got away from Raditz, he went to go look for Gohan, knowing that Yamcha, Chaozu, and Tien were there to back Goku up. He'll be fine. With Kaioken used sparingly, it's not a wonder that the Z-Fighters are holding up better against Great Ape Raditz than Goku is. But eventually, Goku is grabbed by Raditz and squeezed, causing him to scream. And those screams are heard by an infant Gohan. Gohan breaks out of the pod, just like in the anime, where that he kind of does his attack against the Great Ape's big toe. Yeah, it's not as influential, but considering the power spike, that's enough to attract Krillin back.
Well, I'll admit, Kakarot, if I was in my regular form, then that little attack might have hurt a bit. But now, you and your son can die together, and my tail! No!
While Raditz is shrinking, he's blasted by Tien and Yamcha and wounded. Yep, Krillin arrived on the scene and used a Destructo Disc in order to cut Raditz's tail off. Wounded and bruised, Krillin approaches the Saiyan brother and questions him about why he should even let the scum live. And that is where Raditz does his exposition, yet again, wow, 2 times in one episode, where Raditz tells them about the Saiyan threat on its way. He just failed his mission, so they're probably gonna come kill him too. But if they all band together, he's sure they'll all survive. Possibly. With that, Goku tells them that let Raditz live. He's probably going to be in a hospital bed as long as Goku is anyway, so might as well keep an eye on him and try to bring him around. He's not all bad, probably. And so, with both Saiyan brothers wrapped up in hospital beds and the Z-Fighters beginning Kami's training, this is where we will be leaving things for this timeline. So what do you all think?
Do you think that Raditz has turned over a new leaf, or do you think he might backstab the Z crew once Vegeta and Nappa get here? Leave your comment below. For more what-ifs in the realm of video gaming and Dragon Ball alike, such as if Krillin was, Goku's best friend, but female, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. By the way, this bendy shirt, it's not a precursor of things to come. Right?